The city of Austin, Texas, had always been a place where dreams collided with reality, a place where music spilled from the bars on 6th Street, where murals on brick walls spoke of resilience and creativity, and where the warm evenings carried the sound of laughter from food trucks and backyard gatherings. A city full of stories both joyous and heartbreaking. And for Olivia Turner, a 30-year-old marketing manager, Austin was more than just a city. It had become the anchor she had long been searching for after years of drifting from place to place, changing jobs, renting apartments that never quite felt like home, until she finally found both stability and love here, settling into a modest suburban neighborhood with her husband Mark Turner, a man she had once believed was her forever. Olivia and Mark had been married for 7 years, their life together a patchwork of routines, memories, and dreams, the kind of life that from the outside looked picture-perfect. Neighbors saw them as a couple to admire. The ones who hosted friendly barbecues, waved across the fence with easy smiles, attended community events, and seemed to embody the idea of a strong, grounded marriage. Mark worked as an architect at a respected local firm, often coming home with rolled-up blueprints and stories about designs that aimed to shape Austin's growing skyline. While Olivia balanced her demanding career in marketing with running their household, managing schedules, and ensuring their home always carried warmth and order. Friends admired them. Colleagues spoke of them as an example of stability, and even Olivia sometimes looked at their life and thought, yes, this is what I had always hoped for, this is happiness. But beneath the carefully built surface, Olivia carried a secret, one she had buried so deeply that even in quiet moments she sometimes convinced herself it didn't exist. A secret that was not part of any plan, not part of her understanding of who she was, and yet it lived inside her, heavy and silent. It wasn't something she had ever thought she was capable of. It wasn't something she wanted, but one mistake had changed everything. A year earlier, when work had been at its most stressful, when long hours, impossible deadlines, and the constant pressure of clients made Olivia feel as though she was unraveling, she had grown closer to a colleague named Ethan Collins, a man whose charm and attentiveness arrived at the exact moment she felt most unseen. Ethan wasn't extraordinary in looks, but he had a way of listening, of leaning into conversations, of noticing when her shoulders were tense or her eyes tired. He was always there with a joke to lighten the mood or an offer to grab coffee when she had skipped lunch. Their friendship grew quietly, wrapped in the excuse of shared projects and overlapping responsibilities, until one evening, after a particularly grueling day and a late meeting that stretched long past dinner time, they went out for food together. The meal itself was simple, but the conversation slipped into personal territory, and Olivia realized she was sharing thoughts, fears, and vulnerabilities that she should have reserved only for her marriage. Nothing physical happened that night, but emotionally, lines were crossed, lines that Olivia, even in the moment, knew should never have been crossed. From there it spiraled into late-night messages, jokes turned into confessions, small secrets exchanged like dangerous currency. And though it never became an affair of the body, Olivia knew in her heart it was already a betrayal of the trust Mark had placed in her. The guilt ate at her like a slow fire, burning quietly, hidden from view, but consuming her from within. She told herself again and again that it was just a mistake, that she had ended it before it became something more, that Ethan leaving the company was a chance to start fresh, to bury it all and move forward as if it had never happened. She promised herself she would lock it away forever, never let it see the light of day, and devote herself to her marriage with more care than before. But secrets have a way of surfacing, of clawing their way out no matter how deep they are buried. And Olivia's secret did not stay hidden. One evening, she came home from work to find Mark sitting at the dining table, his posture stiff, his face unreadable, and her phone in his hand. She froze, the blood rushing from her face, because she knew even before he spoke what he had found. "Liv," he said quietly, his voice carrying a weight she had never heard before, using the nickname only he called her. "I found some old messages from Ethan." Her heart dropped, a physical sensation as if gravity had doubled, leaving her unable to breathe. The air seemed to vanish, the walls of the house pressing in around her. She tried to speak, the words catching in her throat. "Mark, I can explain." But he held up a hand, silencing her. His eyes, usually warm and steady, were hard now, wounded. "I don't want excuses," he said, his voice low but firm. "I want the truth." Tears welled up in her eyes instantly, spilling before she could stop them. And so the truth came out, halting at first, then tumbling in sobs, the story of how it started, how she felt weak, how she realized it was wrong and ended it before it crossed into something physical, how Ethan had left, and how she had buried it, ashamed, terrified, determined never to hurt him with it. She begged him to believe her, begged him to see it was a mistake born of weakness, not a lack of love. But betrayal, no matter how large or small, no matter if it is a single night or a series of messages, cuts deep, and Mark was not immune. His silence that followed was louder than shouting, heavier than slammed doors. For weeks their home turned into a place of quiet tension. A house where once laughter echoed now filled only with the clatter of dishes, the rustle of pages, the creak of footsteps. Mark moved into the guest room. A separation that felt like a canyon cutting through their home. Meals were eaten apart, sometimes with excuses, often with nothing but silence. At work, Olivia smiled through meetings, delivered campaigns, spoke with clients, but inside she was unraveling, carrying the ache of a marriage she had broken. At night she lay awake staring at the ceiling, wondering if the man she loved would ever be able to look at her the same way again. She tried everything she could think of. She wrote letters filled with apologies, she sent messages of love, she signed them up for counseling sessions, she cooked his favorite meals, but Mark's hurt was raw and his walls high. Her best friend Rachel, who had known Olivia since college, listened as Olivia sobbed over coffee, her hands shaking as she confessed what had happened. Rachel, though shocked, was steady. "If he stays," she said gently, "it'll be because he sees your regret is real. Don't push him. Don't overwhelm him with guilt. Just show him. Show him who you really are. Show him you're not running from this." Olivia clung to those words, carrying them like a lifeline. She focused on honesty, on stripping away the instinct to hide. She left her phone unlocked on the counter, every message visible, every call open. She was transparent about her schedule, about her whereabouts, about everything. She slowed down, carving out time for Mark, for the marriage that they had both neglected in the rush of careers and life. She didn't ask for forgiveness, not yet, because she knew it couldn't be demanded, only earned. Mark, though hurt, though distant, could not ignore her